disaster.
Now, your first alert weather. Tracking Idalia.
Welcome back with us here at Live 5 News as we continue to track Hurricane Idalia right now, continuing to move northward closer and closer to the coast of Florida, the area right along the Big Bend, right into the Cedar Key area, if you know where that is. They're bracing themselves for an impact, really a head-on impact, to possibly a Category 3 hurricane. Now, by the time it moves close to the low country, we are expecting it to weaken a bit, which is good news, but we are still bracing ourselves for some impacts as well, which we'll talk about in just a moment. But going over the track, once again, currently moving northward at about 15 miles per hour. You can see the system, the cone there, I should say, lifting northward, like I mentioned, right along the coast of the Big Bend, possibly as a Category 3 hurricane, a major hurricane impacting those folks. By the time it moves closer to the low country, you can see here we are expecting it to weaken, possibly back to a tropical storm. Either way, we're going to feel impacts. Heavy rainfall, storm surge, definitely a likelihood, gusty tropical storm force winds as well before this system pushes offshore into Thursday. So your main impact time frame, it's tomorrow right around lunchtime. You're going to notice wind. You're going to notice those rain bands really pick up, and they're going to stick around for most of Wednesday night. And speaking of rainfall, how much are we talking about? This map has bounced around a bit, and I mentioned a few days ago it will continue to bounce around as these models really start to zone in on what's going on here. You can see the majority really of that heavy rainfall, anywhere from 2 to 6 inches. That's now pushed inland just a bit. That doesn't mean we're going to necessarily be drier along the coastline. This is going to change over the next day as the system continues to strengthen, grow in the Gulf of Mexico. It still has a while over that warm water of the Gulf, really continuing to steer the storm and also help grow it. So our impacts here, damaging wind. Once again, tropical storm force wind definitely likely, flooding, very high chance of that happening, especially with our king tides. We have this full moon tomorrow night, bringing us a very high tide. That's right around 8:24. Into downtown Charleston specifically. We do have tropical storm watches and warnings across the area because of that strong gusty wind. And here's our gust forecast. Keep this in mind. Think about what you have in the yard right now. Maybe some chairs, some umbrellas, anything loose in the yard. I know it's the kind of end of summertime, starting school. The kids still might have some things outdoors. Pin it down, bring it inside. This is the time to do that because look at lunchtime tomorrow. We're already feeling some decent wind gusts, and then it just gets stronger from there. 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Look at these wind gusts, possibly 50-mile-per-hour gusts into Beaufort, 44 in Charleston, 48 in Somerville, and the wind just continues as we head into early Thursday morning. This is 2 a.m. Thursday morning. As you can see, the center of Idalia moving away from the area finally Thursday morning. And then we're going into a whole different impact, and that is storm surge. That's water on top of typically dry ground. We could see anywhere from 1 to 2 feet, maybe possibly 3 feet. That's right along our coastline, immediate coastline at our beaches. But once again, it's all about that high tide tomorrow night at 8:24 Charleston Harbor. Flooding starts at 7 feet, and we're expecting that to be over 8 feet right now. So keeping a very close eye on that. We already have issues at our beaches ahead of Idalia. This is from Franklin, swells from Franklin out there, keeping that rip current risk on the high side for the rest of the day. As of right now, back to your forecast, at least for the rest of your Tuesday, as you're prepping for the storm, maybe charging everything, getting stuff ready to go, having the batteries on hand, all of that. At least you have some semi-decent weather for that right now. 86 degrees, some spots. We did see a few showers earlier on today. Could see a few more storms throughout the evening hours, and then the real rain with Idalia. That's going to arrive tomorrow. This is lunchtime tomorrow afternoon on your Wednesday. Those outer bands from the storm system will start to push in. Look at 4 o'clock. Heavy, consistent rainfall continues. Now, the center of the storm, everything depends on the center of the storm. How much rain, how much wind, how much flooding. So do be aware of that. This is going to change, but you can see the center of the storm lifting right through the area late tomorrow night and early Thursday morning. Good news is, after this is all said and done, by Thursday afternoon with current timing, things will dry out and improving. 81 Thursday afternoon, 83 dry on Friday. At least we have a nice holiday week.